to get the job, but for the most part, my price is my price. You can take that part and leave it, or leave it. I don't approach it that way, but ultimately that's it. I'm not gonna if you don't want to do business with me because my price is too high. Well, I know my price is not too high, so I'm not going any lower because I know I'm in the right price range.
I am not a believer that the customer's always right. Not to say you can treat a customer any certain way.
No.
But I say that because just what you just said, the customer doesn't know the back end side. They don't know how much things cost. They don't know any of that.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the FIP Printing Pros podcast. I'm your host, Josh Steinison, with my co-host here, Chris Lockwood. And today we are talking about customer acquisition versus customer retention, and how you focus on the difference between growth and loyalty and how to do it at the same time. And basically, to start that off, is I'm going to give an example of what is a frustrating thing for me when I'm dealing with some companies. I'll say in particular, it's a common one. My cell phone company.
Oh, I knew you were going there. I was going to say, wait, let me guess.
And where they always throw out these amazing deals and want to take care of you in the beginning, and then once you're a customer, you don't like the free cell phone. Let's just put that's an obvious one. They offer the free cell phone and whatnot when you first switch over, but then when it's time to renew 3 years later or whatever, you got to pay $1,000 for a new phone or whatever the case may be. But that's always frustrating because you got me over here, customer, to do it this way, but I've also for 3 years now been paying a couple $100 or whatever your plan is a month to you for 3 years now. So I've built up some money in there that you can afford to give me another phone. And also, I know those phones aren't for $1,000.
Yeah, so, especially when they're like, oh, it cost Apple 30 cents to make this thing. I was trying to look it up real quick because I just went through this with my cell phone carrier. And one of the perks on this new plan that they have out is you get the same benefits that a new customer gets. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how's that a perk? Are you trying to get rid of me?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, but also they've gotten a little better, I think, lately that I've noticed, where they have trade-ins and things along those lines you can do. But in general, a lot of companies don't do that, and so I think it's very crucial that you make sure you're not just focusing on new business only, and making sure you're also taking care of the current customer base at the same time. And it's a balance, and obviously the more you grow as a company, it becomes easier because you can have a dedicated team that takes care of the current, takes care of only focusing after going after new business. But I think a lot of people they miss that an aspect of just focusing on getting new and constantly new, and then don't focus enough on taking care of the current as much.
Well, I mean, there's math behind it. Right, because it is cheaper to keep a current customer, but there is also a max value that you're going to get out of that customer. So you have to know, you got to kind of know where that line is. Now, if you're in an industry that has repeat business, that's a little bit different. For example, with print, if you might have you're going to have a variety of different kind of customers. You're going to have some that are really regular on ordering and things like that. So you want to take care of those, especially if they're big spenders.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have those that's only going to come in and they're going to order once, maybe a year, maybe every 5. I mean, it's hard to tell. So and then you do have to bring in new people, because if not, your business will die. Mm-hmm. Unless you're one of those businesses that has one customer, the U.S. government, and you supply that one thing, bombs, that nobody else can supply, you got to have new customers, right? And that's just the way it is. But you also have to balance out, like you said, taking care of the old ones.
Yeah, and whether it's new people coming in or the current customers, each person you got to treat the same. Like, make sure you're going above and beyond, taking care of them. One of the biggest things that I'm big on is, especially like if it's my customer, like I'm dealing with them directly, which I don't get involved with everybody, but the more I'm in networking, people want to work with me sometimes instead of like my team. But if I'm involved, like I am every step of the way, like making sure like things are getting done.
Yeah.
And especially if like I know, like for us, we get a lot of rushes. Not our most preferred thing. We prefer people if they could just get enough head time. But it's the name of the game. We all forget last minute about this event, and then we needed this product for the event or something, and so they'll come to us last minute. But part of that is sometimes we have to stay on the customer.
Yeah.
Because I know how long a process takes to get this all done. So I need to get through those processes, hurry up and get it done by the time I know they need it by. So a lot of times somebody will say, oh, I need this by next Friday. Okay, well, I know to get this done by next Friday, I need to get this all approved literally tomorrow by 11 o'clock. So I'm on them constantly like, all right, we need your logo. We need this. We need the details of this. I'm going to send you the estimate. You got to prove it. And I'm going to send you proof. You got to prove it. And then we'll be good to go. So it's like and I'm constantly like, hey, did you check that? Did you get this? A lot of times I'm doing the follow-up. A lot of my customers appreciate that because they have busy lives and they're doing their own thing and they forget about that, So that's something I'm good at. And I'm not pushy by any means. I despise pushy salespeople. I'm looking out for them. I'm taking care of them. I'm not pushing them into anything. They already want this. So I'm now trying to make sure I'm taking care of them so that I meet the deadline they need to meet. So I'm being an advocate for them basically more so than an annoying person trying to get a hold of them. And I warn them a lot of times. It's like, hey, all right, when this happens, I'm going to make sure to text you right away when I email this to you so that you make sure to get this answered pretty quickly. Like I try to give them a heads up on all that kind of stuff. So
we have something very similar with home healthcare, and everything it's when we get a new patient, we usually find out today that they're going to be discharged from the hospital or wherever today. And usually, our rule is within 40, or I think it's the law, is within 48 hours they have to be seen. We try and do it within 24 hours.
Yep.
Because most people will return back to the hospital within 24 hours of getting discharged, or their care facility within 24 hours of getting discharged, which is why we want to get it there as quick as possible. But in order to do that, I have to have certain documents. I have to have signed orders from the doctor. I have to know who's going to sign our care orders. I have, all these kind of things. And so it's a rush to get it done, but it's so that we can take care of that person properly. Mm-hmm. Going back a little bit to keeping a current customer versus acquisitions. I mean, it's the same thing in the healthcare world. Whether it's getting a new account or having a returning patient or taking care of a current patient, one of our things is we can only accept certain insurances. We have our preferred, but there's others we can accept on a limited basis. And so we have to balance out getting the preferred ones, meaning these are the ones that they pay on time, they pay good, versus the ones that are like, they're not so good. The ones we won't take is if there's any kind of copay, we won't take those because we don't want the patient to be responsible for any kind of out-of-pocket expenses. But sometimes we will take one of those non-preferred in order to, down the road, get those that are preferred. So how does this happen with acquiring new customers? Sometimes you might have to give that discount if you know later down the road they're going to be a good client. Now, there are some risks with that. You don't want to become their discount supplier, their discount printer, their discount plumber. So you have to know that there's going to be benefits, and you got to make it clear to them too.
Yeah.
Maybe for the print, hey, we're not going to charge you this rush job, but next time we're going to charge you for or we're not going to charge you the rush fee. Next time we're going to have to. Mm-hmm. So you have to train your customers, especially if they're going to become longtime customers. You got to train them not to take advantage of you. So you got to warn them, but sometimes you might have to cut that break on the front end to do that.
Or a lot of times what we will do sometimes, because, like you said in the beginning, you do offer that big discount, maybe, whatever it is, that you don't really make much, if any at all, in the first time. But in the end, when they are long-term, now they're long-term paying. So now I can be like, when they want that rush for tomorrow, normally I would slap a 25, depending on the size of it, maybe $50 fee, whatever it is. Instead, I'm like, they're a good customer. Don't charge them or something like that. That's my loyalty side of things, where, I'm giving them a deal because they're loyal to me and good customer. So there's advantages. There's different ways. So we agree, because I do need to do rush fees on it, because you have to try to. But some of them from time to time, I'm like, I'll waive this or whatever. Or
I want to ask you a question about that real quick before I forget. When you give them a discount, do you show that on the invoice that there was a rush fee and then you took it off?
Normally I just verbally tell them. It's like, well, depends on if it's me. Like, I don't know if they verbalize as much as I do. I was like, well, normally I would charge for rush fee, but you're a good customer, so I don't worry about it. I'm going to just take care of you. And
I would say put that on there.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. And for everybody out there, if you do something like that, if you give them a discount or you waive something, I would show that on the invoice. It's that just helps drive home that, especially for your, whether it's a new customer or a returning customer.
Yeah.
That's a very strong psychological anchor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just, that popped into my head as you were saying. I was like, that's not a bad idea. I think I would do that.
That's not a bad idea. I actually have some monthly bills that I pay, and because I have like for IT services and things that are multiple, like I have like 10 plus computers in the warehouse, and they give a discount on there to where they discount down, and I don't know if that's just a normal thing or not, but they show it on the bill where they waive basically to the computers or something like that, but they show it on there. So it psychologically makes you feel better, I guess, rather than if, honestly, especially now that I've been with them for almost 5 years, I probably would have forgot by now that I'm actually getting a discount, because, so psychologically seeing it on the bill every month makes sense. So that's not a bad idea. I might actually have my team start doing that, because that is a good idea. Anyways, okay. But as far as another thing that, it's trying to think of different ways to, I guess, innovate and offer new type of offerings. And what we are actually about to be doing and offering out there is, there's a lot of companies we work with that they don't have a marketing person per se, or they do have a marketing person, and, getting promotional products and apparel and whatever else through us is just like a side thing for them. They are more on the digital side and focusing on that. So like, this is an extra thing they do. And what we're going to be offering basically is where they bring their monthly budget to us, $2,000 a month to spend on all the different marketing materials or whatever that looks like to them. And we will be the one that can, obviously we're going to ask for like a whole list of questions to try to understand what their needs are. If they've ordered things they'd like to hand out, whatever that looks like. We're going to have a lot of answered questions beforehand so we know how to address it, but we're going to be basically choosing their marketing materials for them and how to distribute it, knowing if an event's coming up, what the event is. So we put something around that for them, and basically trusting us to do that. And then we're not taking an extra fee, because obviously we're providing the items for them. And they, within what we get out of it is a commitment for, however many long we get the commitment for, of X amount of dollars they're allocating per month to us, that we know orders coming in from them. So
almost like a subscription.
kind of, yeah,
I like
pretty
that.
much, yeah, pretty much. But so many of these businesses, they have the marketing budget and they want to use and buy the things and utilize it, but they could be focusing on more, I guess, more important things for them. Let us be the ones that are the experts in doing these type of things and knowing what you might need in this particular situation. Now, obviously, we can do a collaboration if you have some thoughts and want to collaborate with us. However, if you just want us to worry about it, we're there. You know, we can do anything. You know, somebody wants to tell us exactly what they want, we'll order it. If they don't want to have to worry about that, we can help you decide that for you.
So if I'm like, hey, here's my logo, here's our colors, and I go to a lot of doctors' offices and hospitals, so I know I need pens and notepads and any other cool thing you think would be out there. I got $1,000 a month.
Yep.
Then you'll just be like, all right. And then every month you'll be like, okay, come pick your stuff up. And I'm like, oh shit, these are cool. I'm glad you picked these out. And next month it could be something different or whatever.
And so you think about there's mystery boxes subscriptions for different things that people do, whether that's food or even like they have the American box or whatever, I can't remember what it's called, the USA box or whatever, and it's all like patriotic stuff every month that comes in. There's different subscriptions for things like that, but ours will be for promotional
items. I like that.
So we're working on that right now and developing exactly how we're going to put that out there and everything. So, but that's what we're kind of working on, and so thinking of different like innovative things within your industry that you can try and put out there as an offer for someone that is unique. Because I did some research and I haven't seen I Googled it, ChatGPT'd it and everything, and nobody else is doing this out there. And I wanted to try to differentiate myself in some way that I can offer something that somebody else has never offered, or very little people are, so.
Yeah, if you put that out, I'm just thinking, man, like you put that out across the country, and I mean, shit, if you were charged, let's just say the average was $1,000 a month in marketing budget, if you had, 50 people, 50 businesses,
It's an extra $50K a month.
That's an extra $50K a month. And I mean, that could be a whole. Maybe we don't want to put this episode out, man. There might be somebody going, "That's a great idea. I think I'll do that."
Hey, if they,
as long as they use you for the supplier, right?
Exactly. Also, somebody's gonna come up with ideas, and then somebody's always gonna steal it. So, I mean, if it works, I'm going to be the first one to probably do it. And again, maybe there's somebody out there doing it, but I did my research and nothing popped up. So
I've never heard of it.
So I'm assuming it's not a thing. Nothing I found. So I expect if other people hear about this, them trying to jump on the train, and maybe trying to do some of this. Maybe not here in our local area, but at least somewhere else maybe. But also, there's just people that won't try new things like that. So
that's
So yeah, that's something that I recommend, is trying to come up with different innovative ideas of like how you can offer things differently for your industry.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this about current customers. Sometimes customers can overestimate their importance. What do you do for those customers that start to try and take advantage of their relationship with you?
Could you give me like an example so I can?
Let's just say, they're like, oh, I'm one of your best customers. I need a bigger discount, or maybe they're starting to ask for some things that are unreasonable. How would you deal with that?
So obviously, I would evaluate because every industry has what they would consider a threshold of how much money they bring, like a revenue in, of where they was like a good customer, an amazing customer, from a good customer to an amazing customer, or, I see this guy every so often, but again, some of these guys that only come around so often, they're a small company. So like, I don't expect, anything, if they're great people and we love seeing them. So I would say, you got to know where you kind of consider that line of where you offer what. because I have some amazing customers that I will maybe discount my stuff down every single time for them because I want to offer them special pricing because they spend so much with me. And you got to know what that is. And then if they think they're that customer and they're not, that is a tough one. But you can just say, hey, we provide great service. This is what it is. This is our price. There's not much I can do. Just be honest with them and say, I hope you're happy with the service and will stay with us. I don't want to lose you as a customer, but ultimately you got to know that dollar amount if you're willing to but again, you also got to know your price. They're not going to be able to, what I do, go anywhere else around here and get a better price that they're going to discount it that crazily constantly, maybe initially, but consistently discounting your price for somebody coming back over and over is just not realistic. Yeah. So make sure you know your numbers in the market, and if you're competitive, and if you're not, then that is going to be tougher for you because then now you got to bring more value than just the price, which you can do as far as make sure you're going above and beyond for which I try to be all of it. I mean, we're not always perfect, obviously, but I try to be as competitive in the pricing as I can, as good of quality as I can, and as good of customer service as I can. I try to do all those things if you can. Those are the three main things you need. But just reassuring them that you are the right person for them, and that's the biggest thing I could say.
Do you think it's okay or has there ever been an instance where you have fired a customer or rejected a new customer?
Yes, but not because they just ask for a discount or anything like that. It's because of the way they treated my staff, or I can just tell that they have too unrealistic expectations of what should be provided to them, and meaning they're always going to be difficult customers, and there's something you got to deal with. I won't just fire just a difficult customer because otherwise I'd be out of business, because a lot of our customers can be difficult at times. In any industry, there's always going to be people that I'm sure I probably have been that difficult customer sometimes and not even realize it. Yeah. And I feel like I try to be, but I'm sure my wife would say different because I ask a lot of questions when I'm going in to do different things. So I'm
a difficult customer when it comes to buying a car. Yeah, I already know that, and I warn them up front. I'm like, look, you're not gonna like me. Yeah. I'm just gonna tell you up front. Yeah, I'm a nice guy, but you're not gonna like me through this process.
Yeah, and I mean, so there's like I said, there's just different levels, and I think, like in a car situation, haggling on the price and trying to get whatever things thrown in, like those are different normal things, or you're not going to take advantage of me because I know the numbers of what this should be look like, type of thing. I don't know if I consider it a difficult customer. I think that's just maybe not their ideal customer.
I'm an informed customer.
Yeah. That's not what they would prefer because they'd rather make more margins or whatever. Somebody just comes in and pays the price. But I think with my industry, it's different because you can discount things if you have to get the job. But for the most part, my price is my price. You can take that part and leave it, or leave it. I don't approach it that way, but ultimately that's it. I'm not gonna just, if you don't want to do business with me because my price is too high. Well, I know my price is not too high, so I'm not going any lower because I know I'm in the right price range.
Yeah, I know how much I'm paying. I know what it costs per goods. So
I know what I'm paying my team.
I have to make money. So.
Yeah, I know what I'm paying my team and all those things.
That brings me to another point. I don't know if you agree with this or not, and I am not a believer that the customer is always right. No. I think, if anything, the customer is usually more wrong than the business. And I say that not to say you can treat a customer any certain way. No. But I say that because just what you just said, the customer doesn't know the back end side. They don't know how much things cost. They don't know, they don't know any of that. So if you're one of those people it's like, oh, the customer's always right. No, they're not. They're wrong like 99% of the time. I know as a customer, I'm wrong most of the time. I know what I want. I know what I think is fair. But I also don't know the processes and the costs and labor and material. I know any of that. So just because I think I want something a certain way doesn't mean, anything. Like you go into a restaurant and, if you're going to an Italian restaurant, you're like, I want an all-American cheeseburger. I'm the customer. I'm always right. No, you're not. You're in the wrong freaking restaurant. That's what you are.
Yep.
So
Yep.
go to a different restaurant.
Yep.
I can't go to Burger King and order a Big Mac. It just, no.
Yep.
Right. And so I think when we're talking about whether it's getting new customers or clients and keeping your old ones, understand that they're not always right. Just like you said, know your numbers. Now, I almost never recommend telling them they're wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are. Sometimes you just have to inform them, look, that's not the way it is. You said it best when you were like, hey, I don't want to lose your business, but this is what it is. So.
Yeah, and that's just what you guys got to say. Like, hey, this is my policy. This is my price. This is whatever. Because a lot of times, even it's our way we do things, people don't like, and we say sorry. This, like we just had somebody that was upset with us because we are continually emailing them, asking more questions. Well, the questions are like very key because it's what color imprint, what color this, when can you approve by this date, what date do you need it? Like it's those questions you got to have answered in order to get the proper, thing that they want at the end. And they were getting annoyed because we were asking a lot of questions through email and they just wanted to just do it. Like, well, we can't do it until we have the proper information, So.
And I'm going to tell you, it gets... when I was in there and the graphic designer was looking at these two booklets and she's like, this one is blue black and this one's black, and I'm looking at it like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I think you were even like, yeah, I don't see a difference, but she could see the difference.
Yeah.
And to notice that level of detail for your customer, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And whether it's a new or returning customer, like you kind of alluded to it earlier, but it's not always just the pricing. It's not always just the product, but it's also the customer service aspect of
Yep.
it. So you have marketing to get new people, but your customer service is what keeps people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think with that is at the end of the day, asking feedback from your customers is key too, because you may think you're doing a good job, your numbers show you're doing a good job, but maybe there's still that little thing in there that you can fine tune to make your process even better, or whatever the case, your products, if you're,
Now, let me say this. When you fill out that Google review, it's 5 stars. If you had a problem, call us directly and tell us. Don't put that shit on the internet.
Now, I would say, they say though, actually, that if you're only 5 stars, sometimes people, find it sketchy that it's all 5 stars. So sometimes getting a bad review in there and then getting your opportunity to explain, hey.
No, you're right. But don't be talking about, I was supposed to pick it up on Monday and I didn't get it till Tuesday, 1 star. Shut up. You didn't give us back what we needed at the time, okay?
Well, that's why you get the chance to
Yeah.
reply and explain your side of things. And that unfortunately, we had one instance where it was on Yelp. So like we have one Yelp review and it's the one bad review. And it was because the customer came in and was trying to demand one of my staff to like give him a price right then and there. Well, a lot of our stuff is custom and we need to like go through a software and like fill in the information that they need. So it's not like just off the top of our head type of thing or set numbers. You have to plug things in to make it work.
Yeah.
And he was demanding, he's like, I'm sorry, we can't do it that way, and he started getting angry at her and like kind of calling her out. And she nicely said, well, I'm sorry if you're not happy with that, you're free to leave. Like basically said, like, cause she didn't need to sit there and take the abuse he was giving her. Well, then he ends up going on Google or Yelp and putting out there that, that she told him to leave and
kick me out of the office.
Kicked her out. I was like, well, you didn't explain why you.
First of all, she's
know.
not big enough to kick anybody anywhere, so she's not mean at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we had an Airbnb review one time, and we have a cabin in the mountains in nature, and they were complaining about bugs coming in the house when they left the door open. And it was like a 3-star review or something like that. And if you have an Airbnb, anything below 5 stars does suck. No matter, I don't care what it is.
You don't want bad reviews on
there.
there.
They punish you for having bad reviews. They'll drop you in the rankings, right? But anyway, I went in there and I commented. I'm like, you were in a cabin, in the woods, and left the door open. And that was it. That was my whole response to it.
Yeah.
And I had so many people because we have a little book where people can write in it. And after that review, there was probably a good 4 or 5 people that wrote comments in the book. There was like, we saw the bugs and decided to keep the door closed, right? Because they read that review and they read the response.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if there is a bad review, do that. But I think one of the problems with the review thing, and this, you mentioned it, I can't remember if it was on this episode or another one we did, when everything that you do, your customers are looking at. So they're going to look you up on social media. They're going to look up your reviews. While getting that 5-star is important, I think you're right. What you respond to the negative ones and to the positive ones is equally as important.
Yeah.
Especially if you can explain the situation, then you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That guy was being unreasonable, right? Or they're going to go to your social media profiles, and a lot of times they're going to see how active are you.
Yeah.
Now, we all know that 90% of that crap is that's just someone's job to put things on social media, but it shows how active you are. And some people make their decision based on that. So whether you're trying to keep customers or get new customers, you need to apply all the avenues that you can to stay relevant, to stay in people's minds, because you can have a current customer, and if all you do is focus on new ones and forget about the old ones, you're going to lose them.
Yep.
If all you're doing is focusing on current ones and you don't put things out to attract new ones, you're not going to get new ones.
Yep.
And then you could still lose your old ones. So, make sure you stay on top of those things.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to close things out on this episode. And make sure you always are trying to do both, nurture both new and old, and how to take care of them, and make sure not to forget about the current ones while you're trying to just go after the old ones, and vice versa. If you like this one, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and again, until next time, let's grow together.
It's time to step up, yeah, it's grind time, no more letting up, no, running faster, further, no more running up, yeah, giving my all, no more giving up, listen to me, step, it's time to step it up.